Hey everybody, Bob Rosenberg here with my good friend Dr. George again. Just stopping in on President's Day. And I guess before we see anything else, let's give thanks to our previous presidents. And I guess our current president. Having said that, we have been grateful and paid homage to our presidents. Now let's pay some homage to our health. So George, how have you been since I seen you last?
Well, I have been maintaining my weight loss. I've been fluctuating between 195 and 200. And today
Still in Wonderland, huh?
Still at the amount of weight I want to be at. And today I weigh 197.
Woo.
So we've talked about how I lost the weight. And I'm going to bring to you the nutritional foundations from Anabolic Labs. And in here, there's some very interesting things about signs and symptoms, which I kind of knew I was going to experience, dietary factors, and more importantly, the pro-inflammatory foods and the anti-inflammatory foods. And then if you go, this is a really great book to have, and it has disease versus health and a basic plan for health. And then it makes some dietary recommendations for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks.
And down at the bottom here are all the science-based peer-reviewed journal references that our good friend Dr. Seaman was kind enough to put together and help this. This is basically the Reader's Digest version of his Deflamed Diet book. Go ahead, George.
It's the short version, and more importantly in there, two of the suggestions, or two of the things I did when I modified David's diet, is I cut out sugar and gluten, and you can see it on the page we were just on. And this book emphasizes everything I did. So knowing what I did, I expected to have some symptoms, and that book talks about that. So in order to deal with the symptoms, I wanted to take supplements, both a combination of vitamins and nutrients. And the first two I want to talk about are anabolic products, and today we're going to talk about antibiotic products. The first one is Zymine, and this is for acute inflammation. The second product I want to talk about a little bit is Proens, and this is for chronic inflammation.
Right.
And the difference in these two products basically are the ingredients, and they do similar functions. However, they have distinct features, and that's why I take both. So let's talk about the Zymine. What the Zymine does, it has some proteolytic enzymes in it, and it has tryptophan. Oh, I did bring the card.
Yeah.
and chymotryptophan and
Chymotrypsin and
bromelain, papain, and
bromelain,
right, and a number of the enzymes that help reduce inflammation. And what this does, you know, when you're deflaming, obviously your flame inflammation is present. So if you're going to deflame and you're going to radically change your diet, you know that there are going to be some symptoms. So one way that I had long conversations with David, I might add also, is that about this very topic, personal friend, and I decided I was going to take supplements to deal with this. And Zymine is one that I take every day, and another one that I take every day is the Proens. And the way Proens differs, it also has inflammatory products in it, ingredients. It has ingredients such as turmeric and curcumin and rosemary.
Boswellia.
Boswellia is another one. Ginger?
Ginger, yes. Ginger.
So
no Marianne, just ginger.
Just ginger. And anyway, this is really good at dealing with chronic inflammation. So I also take one of these a day. I take 24 supplements a day, but the way I do it is I break it up into 4 different periods. And at each period, I take 6 supplements. So I don't take the Proens and the Zymine together. I take the Zymine first at around 12 o'clock, and then I take the Proens around 6. And then I take some of my other supplements at night before I go to bed and in the morning when I get up. And these are the cards for your Zymine and your Pro-Ends. I have these in my office.
So let me just add, the Zymine, because it's an acute phase formula, it's a two-step formula. It helps deal with the acute inflammation that's going on, plus also the healing components, the healing nutrients necessary to more rapidly facilitate repair. So there's cartilage and zinc and bioflavonoids, etc. in there as well.
And I'm actually going to talk about the bioflavonoids a little bit, but before we get to that, what I want to talk about with the Zymine is the soft tissue repair. It facilitates soft tissue repair. And when you're going to have a drastic weight loss like that because you're all inflamed, your joints hurt, you need soft tissue repair. I mean, the turmeric and the curcumin that are in the Pro-Ends are all great to get rid of that inflammation, but you need soft tissue repair. That's why it's really important that you take the Zymine. And I take that ongoing, both of those products, and that has helped me maintain my gains, which I fluctuate, as I said, between 195 and 200.
And
now,
if I could just piggyback on that a second, George, with the Zymine, we normally recommend 2 tablets 4 times a day between meals when you're in a more acute type of situation. However, you can do, like George said, you can take it prophylactically, 1 or 2 a day, 2 to 4 a day. So you could just cut it back and use it for more chronic support as opposed to acute phase support.
And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking 2 of each of those a day, but I take them at 2 different times, 6 hours apart, and that seems to be a good way to do it. Now I want to talk about 3 more products from Anabolic Labs. The first one I want to talk about is the Sunshine Vitamin D3.
Vitamin D.
And vitamin D is very important for a number of reasons. And one of the reasons is very important for is, like it's mentioned that there's bioflavonoids in there. Plus, I also take their seed products, and there's 2 seed products. I take the natural product, and I take the synthetic. And the difference between that is animals can make seed, but they also eat seed. So that would be the synthetic and the natural. And we, as a company, manufacture those products, and they're readily available. But if you read Linus Pauling's work, you need a complete seed for it to work, and you need to take it with D3. And there's a lot of benefits to it. It's anti-inflammatory, as it's said, it's in those products. It also gives you immune support when you take both of them along with the D3. And it also will help you with soft tissue regeneration. It speeds up or catalyzes that process. So it's really important when you try to embark on a weight loss program that you consider all factors that are involved in that process. And I had thought this out, and I had people to help me like Bob, and I had long conversations with David Seaman. And the other person I want to give a shout out to that I had a lot of conversation with prior to doing this in March of 2020 out in Tempe, Arizona, is one of my good friends, Gray Cook. Gray himself had embarked on a similar program and had lost quite a bit of weight himself, and he was just looking great in Tempe, Arizona. And we had spent a lot of time together, and we had a lot of conversation. And what I learned from Gray and what I learned from David and with Bob's help, I was able to accomplish my goal and lose that weight. And there's just not, sometimes if you don't have the focus and you don't have the concentration, you need a coach. And Bob is here for you if you're in that area.
We enjoy educating and guiding people through a system of health, that is for sure.
And the other thing I want to talk about, which is really important on the inflammation side again, is the clinical omega-3. And I take that on a daily basis because I don't want any of this to come back. I'm deflamed now, although today I broke from my diet and had potato chips. But you could splurge once in a while and still get away with it. You got to reward yourself. And I was in the mood for the salt and potato chips. But anyway, I take this every day in the morning. This is the first thing I do in the morning when I get up. I take the fish oil, the omega-3, and here's the card. Once again, it's a really good product. And the other thing I want to talk about that I take, here's the card for the D3, is the zinc. The zinc is really important in this process, not only for the immune support, but once again for the soft tissues. This is an important ingredient to make all that happen. So all that being said, I want to phase into my last thing. This is David's new book. It's about immune health. As everybody knows that's watching this video, immune health is a topic of concern right now. And this is a great book. I've read this cover to cover to give you a good idea of what you need to do to support your immune system. Some of the things we talked about, the vitamin C, the Zymine, the Proens, the D3, and the fish oil. But there's more of a process to that, and books like this are very helpful to give you a good understanding. Whether you're a doctor or you're a patient, this is very straightforward and easy reading, and I think you will enjoy this book, and I believe it's available on his website.
Yeah, dflame.com.
And I believe it's also available on Amazon. So this is great if you have the Amazon Prime like I do. You have free shipping and you can get his book. I happen to have all 3 of his books. I have the 2 other books in the other room.
Actually, George, I hate to tell you, but it's up to 5 at this point. That man is just writing and writing and writing. God bless Dr. Seaman.
I have 3 of the 5. So anyway, we're going to try and wrap this up here, and the concept that I want everyone to take from today is if you want to lose weight and you want to take that step and you want to feel healthier and you want to be all around in better shape, no joint pain, no inflammation, able to do things again, fit into your clothes. For me, one of the things, and David and I had a long conversation about this, the big motivator for me was pain. And
that is a huge motivator.
That is why, when I was talking to David and he walked me through all this, this is why I decided to do this. I didn't just do this out of the blue. I had done research from talking to Greg Cook in March and talking to David between March and the end of June to talking to David after that, from June to the present time.
Right.
And with all those conversations, I had arrived at the program that I put myself through. And now what I got to do is I got to take the next step. So I'm taking the supplements. I feel good. I've maintained my weight for almost 9 months now, 8.5 months. So the next step I got to do, I got to get back to the gym. I got to start toning everything up and getting in, better endurance, better flexibility. But it sure helps being at the proper weight and having no inflammation. So I'm going to let Bob give us the closing remarks here.
It all starts with this. What is it you're choosing to fuel your body with? If you're making choices and living in the land of inflammation in grain and seed-based, sugar-based, flour-based foods, and you're not getting your vegetation and your animals that would consume vegetation in a diet, then your level of inflammation is going to be higher, whether you're at a healthy weight, whether you're underweight, or whether you're overweight. Your inflammation load is going to drive chronic disease. And if you want to get a handle on that, this book and those books are really great tools. Dr. George is a wealth of knowledge, and I can certainly help any of you and guide you through this as well. So George, as always, it's a pleasure to spend time with you. And I would appreciate an awesome adjustment while I'm here.
And we're going to do that. In closing, Bob and I are going to do another live video that we're going to put on Facebook and Twitter. And we're going to talk about more of the supplements that I take. Once again, I take 24 different supplements. I take them 4 times a day, 6 supplements per time. And for the purpose of initially of avoiding all the subjective complaints and symptoms, but now and healing my soft tissues and joints. But now I'm taking it to maintain my gains And it's just a good thing to do, because in today's world, our environment is polluted. Let's just face it. We have all kind of toxins that are out there. So if you want to, you know, have the best lifestyle you can, and have the best health, and feel the best, and be active and play sports, whether it's golf or skiing or whatever you do, or just live a healthy lifestyle, this is a step in the right direction. And Bob and I would suggest that you do this. And if you don't have the focus, you don't have the concentration, but you do have the desire, you know, and you need a coach, you know, contact Bob or I, and we'll hook you up with somebody in your area. Or if you're local or you want to do it by video, you can do it with Bob. So I want everybody out there
George.
to have a great day.
Yeah, you guys, thanks again, and to be continued. We've